And I can't find a seconder usually when I propose this, but I don't care. I don't need a seconder. My own opinion is enough for me, and I claim the right to have it defended against any consensus, any majority, anywhere, any place, any time. And anyone who disagrees with this can pick a number, get online, and kiss my ass.
Actually, in the present situation, the main threat to free expression comes from public opinion. So for a Democrat, someone who believes in popular sovereignty, it's a very great problem that public pressure, the pressure of the masses, if you like, is the one that you most likely have to face. And it's also much the hardest to resist, because you'll be accused of being an elitist. You can even be accused of being a racist if you simply say, no, I'm sorry, I reserve the right to criticize anything I like, and in particular, if you reserve the right, insist upon the right to criticize faith or religion. At that point, you may find yourself in some difficulty, and your editor will not tell you, I've been under pressure from the FBI to shut you up. He'll tell you, I've been under pressure from the community to do it.
But does that amendment
and to me, part of growing up is to say the community can go to hell, as far as that's concerned. I don't care about the community. I don't care about the crowd. I don't care about public opinion.
Well, let me go back to your words, and then we'll open it up to calls. You conclude your book by saying, and this may summarize the essence of the book, the high ambition, therefore, seems to me to be this, that one should strive to combine the maximum of impatience with the maximum of skepticism, the maximum of hatred, of injustice, and irrationality with the maximum of ironic self-criticism. This would mean really deciding to learn from history rather than invoking it.
It's not bad. It's quite well put.
So what's the message?
Well, the message is to try and live your life as if you were a free person, that you didn't have to wonder what anyone else's opinion was, that you should take the risk of believing that if you're the only person who thinks what you think, that still might well mean that you were right. In fact, though that loneliness often makes people wonder, because perhaps out of modesty they feel, well, if I feel this way and everyone else doesn't, maybe I'm crazy, or maybe there's something they know that I don't. I'm trying to encourage people not to think like that. You'll notice sometimes on chat shows, I'm sure, and call-in shows as well, people will often say, well, as so-and-so was just saying, and as I quite agree, and they're nervous. They don't want to speak in their own voice. They won't ever quite come out and say, this is what I think. What I'm trying to give people the confidence to do, in other words, is to not only think that even if you're the only one who thinks it, it could be true, but to imagine that actually, if the majority thinks one thing, it's more likely than not to be wrong.
Indeed, as John Stuart Mill said, if all in society were agreed on the truth and beauty and value of one proposition, all except one person, it would be most important, in fact it would become even more important, that that one heretic be heard, because we would still benefit from his perhaps outrageous or appalling view. That person doesn't just have a right to speak. That person's right to speak must be given extra protection, because what he has to say must have taken him some effort to come up with, might contain a grain of historical truth, might in any case give people to think about, why do they know what they already think they know? How do I know that I know this, except that I've always been taught this and never heard anything else?
People have already asked me and written to me, students or readers, younger people, well, how do you make a living being in opposition, which is what I seem to do?
Yeah.
And is it a positive thing that you think you're doing, or is it just negative? Is it just being on the contrary?
Right.
Or does it have a positive? So I said, okay, I have half written this. So it was a great pleasure to do it properly, or, well, what I think is properly. And to say, well, it's not for everybody. Not everyone wants to always be an awkward cuss, or out of step, or against the stream. But if you do feel that the consensus doesn't speak for you, if there's something about you that makes you feel that it would be worth being unpopular or marginal, for the chance to lead your own life and have a life instead of a career or a job, then I can promise you it is worthwhile, yeah.